She's not going to come right out and say, "I want you." That's not how feminine desire works. When it hits her, it doesn't arrive in words. It leaks out through her body. Micro movements, tiny shifts in her breathing, the way her eyes linger then dart away, her fingers tracing something absent-mindedly. The problem? Most men miss it. They're too busy thinking of what to say next, stuck in their nerves, or trying too hard to impress. But once you understand these signals, once you know how to decode them, you can read her without a single word being spoken. And when you respond in the right way, it feels to her like you're inside her head. These are primal signals, instinctive, uncontrollable. She can't fake them, and once you recognize them, you'll never unsee them. So let's start with one of the most intoxicating signs of hidden desire. She plays with something in her hands. It looks innocent, almost nothing, but it's everything. Picture this. You're holding her gaze just long enough for the tension to sink into her stomach, and suddenly her hands need somewhere to go. She rolls a necklace between her fingers. She taps the rim of her glass. She twists her hair around her knuckle. She clicks a pen, but never writes. To the untrained eye, it's just fidgeting. But to a man who understands, it's her body channeling energy she doesn't know how else to release. That movement isn't about the object. It's about you. Think about it. She's not scrolling her phone. She's not closing herself off with crossed arms. Her attention is still on you. Her mind is saying, "Stay composed," while her body whispers, "I can't hold this much longer." Here's where most men ruin it. They point it out. "Why are you nervous?" and instantly break the spell. But a man who knows doesn't call it out. He feeds it. He lets the silence breathe. He lowers his voice. Maybe he leans in just a little closer, watching her hands, saying nothing about them. The longer you let her sit in that loop, touching, focusing, building tension, the stronger the energy grows. Here's the psychology behind it. When a woman feels aroused but restrained, like in public or during those early charged conversations, her body finds socially acceptable outlets for the tension. Playing with something in her hands is one of those outlets. The hair twirling, the nail tapping, the tracing of a glass. Each small, repetitive motion bleeds off just enough energy to keep her grounded, while keeping her locked in that heightened state around you. The key for you? Don't rush it. Don't be the first to break eye contact. Let her sit in it. Let her mind start racing. Why does it feel different with you? Why does it feel heavier, almost magnetic? By the time you finally close that distance, by the time your hand meets hers or your touch lands, her body has already been building the anticipation on its own. And when it happens, it won't feel rushed. It will feel inevitable, like she couldn't hold back any longer. That's the difference between men who notice and men who don't. Sign 2, her eyes lock, then drop. Picture this. You're standing across from her in a crowded bar, maybe sitting face to face in a cafe. Music, chatter, background noise, all of it fades because her eyes keep finding yours. She holds the gaze. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. And just when the air between you feels like it's thickening, she looks down. To most people, it looks like nothing, just a glance away. But to a man who understands attraction, it's a signal as clear as a flare in the night sky. Why? Because this moment is primal. Since the beginning of courtship, eye contact has carried meaning. In the animal world, holding the gaze is dominance. Looking away is submission. And when a woman locks eyes with you, and then drops them, that submission is charged with desire. It's her way of saying 2 things at once. I feel your presence. and I'm open to you leading. But make no mistake, this isn't shyness, it's tension. That downward glance is her way of breaking the heat just enough so she doesn't completely unravel in front of you. Sometimes it comes with other cues. A faint smile like she's hiding a thought. A lip bite, unconscious, revealing where her mind went. Or the slow return of her gaze, almost testing if you're still there. And this is where most men ruin it. The eye contact gets too intense. They panic and they look away. Or worse, they crack a nervous joke. Why are you staring at me like that? In an instant, the electricity dies. The man who wins does the opposite. When her eyes meet his, he stays there, calm, steady, confident, not blinking too fast, not twitching. He lets her feel it until she's the one who has to break the tension. Because that's the moment she knows. She's dealing with a man who doesn't just notice the signs. He owns them. He doesn't rush. He doesn't fidget. He just holds steady, calm, relaxed, like silence is his natural home. That's the power move most men miss. You decide when the moment ends. Not instantly, not forcefully, but just a heartbeat after she looks away. That way, she feels it wasn't her who released the tension. It was you. There's a deep psychology behind this. Holding her gaze that fraction longer sends a message. You're comfortable with intensity. Most men flinch under it. You don't. And in her mind, a seed gets planted. If he can hold me like that with just his eyes, what else could he do? I remember one night in a quiet speakeasy with a woman I'd just met. We'd been trading stories, laughing, when suddenly she stopped. Her eyes locked into mine. No sound, no movement, just that steady pull. I didn't move. I didn't rush to fill the silence. I let it live. 4 seconds passed. Then she glanced down at her glass, brushed her finger along the rim and smiled to herself. That smile wasn't about the story. It was about the unspoken moment. A feeling she couldn't quite explain. Sign 3. She plays with something in her hands. It's one of the easiest signals to overlook. Looks innocent, almost meaningless, but it isn't. Picture this. You're talking in low light. A bar, a lounge, maybe a quiet corner of a cafe. The energy between you is humming like the air before a storm. Then you notice her hands. She's rolling her necklace chain, tracing the lip of her wine glass, twisting a straw wrapper, stroking her wrist without thinking. To someone else, it looks like fidgeting, but to you, it's a towel. When attraction builds, the body has to release that energy. Sometimes it's fast breathing, sometimes flushed skin, and sometimes it shows up in the hands. It's displacement. She feels something too strong to keep still, so her fingers find something safe to play with. It's her way of releasing tension without really releasing it. And here's the key. She doesn't do this with just anyone. If she's bored, her hands stay still. If she's not interested, they're on her phone. But when she's into you, her body speaks before her words do. She'll move slowly, almost absent-mindedly, like her body is keeping itself occupied while her mind and eyes are locked on you. The classic example, hair twirling. It's cliché for a reason. When she winds a strand of hair around her finger and lets it slip free, it's not random. It's a sensual act disguised as a harmless habit. The motion mirrors touch. It soothes, comforts, and at the same time, it carries an erotic undertone. I've seen this play out more times than I can count. One night in a dim jazz bar, I sat across from a woman as the conversation settled into that quiet space where energy says more than words. She held her cocktail glass, but instead of sipping, her finger began tracing the rim in slow circles. Around and around. Her eyes never left mine. She wasn't focused on the glass. Her body was channeling something deeper. That's the moment I knew. We had slipped past polite chatter into something physical. And here's where most men destroy it. They'll call it out. "Why are you fidgeting?" Or tease, "Nervous, huh?" The instant you name it, you break it. She falls out of the trance and back into self-consciousness. The man who understands doesn't interrupt. He protects the moment. He notices, lets his gaze flicker down for half a second, then carries on like nothing happened. Maybe his tone slows. Maybe he leans back, giving the tension room to breathe. When you learn these signals, the guessing game ends. You no longer wonder if she's interested. Her body tells you before her words ever will. The touch at her neck, the eyes that lock, then drop, the restless play of her fingers, the subtle change in her breathing, the way she leans in just a little too close. None of it is random. It's instinct. It's nature speaking in the oldest language there is. Most men never hear it. They miss the cues, push too fast, or smother the spark before it catches fire. But the men who master this, they create moments she replays over and over. So don't just notice the signs. Respond to them with composure, with control. Because once you can read her desire in silence, you'll never need her words again.